It's about staying active. I haven't been that active, in the last couple of years. So, me and my team sat down, and pretty much that's what's been hurting me a lot is not being sharp, not being active. The year layoffs, half-year layoffs, stuff like that. No matter what I've done it before, but I'm not 20, 25 no more. So, everything changes.
And staying active is the name of the game, and that's what's on the agenda for you now.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's the thing is staying active and keeping my tools sharp. Shaking off that ring rust. It takes a couple of fights, to shake it off. You may think you're feeling good in the gym, but everything changes when you're in that actual fight ring. So that's the biggest thing is staying active and getting back on my game, getting my tools sharp.
And so much has happened, with Casey, with Goose and Tudor, with now Al Heyman. What difference has that made?
Well, with Al Heyman, now the fights could be made, very quick, and there ain't no back and forth arguing or bad stuff going on. It's just everything's so smooth and everybody's happy. So it makes life a lot easier, inside the ring and outside of the ring.
What can you tell us about Martinez?
He's one of those guys that likes to exchange. He's a bit dirty, uses his head a lot, elbows, and then.
It sounds like it sounds like the same kind of guy as you had in your 6th fight, right?
Exactly. I think they kind of look alike too.
Do they really? Freddie Castro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you just got to be prepared for everything. That's one of the biggest things is being prepared. And you may think you're prepared and you're in shape and you're great, but nothing's the same as staying active and fighting.
Is there anything that you are taking away from the Thurman fight that you can use for this fight?
Yeah, like I said, being active. I think that's what really hurt me during the fight. It took me a little bit of a few rounds to get started, but once I got started, it was hard to stop me. I mean, as you've seen Thurman, he came out pretty banged up in the fight. So, but that has to do with, being not very active. So, previous fights, before that when I was active, it's just right out the gate, come out, firing, letting them go, combination after combination. Once that first bell ring, I just put my foot on the gas and won't let off. Not being in the ring for long periods of time, you start to fade away from that. So, that's why, one of the biggest things I said is being active and being on it.
Talk about how important the win is for you in this fight.
Boxing, a win's always important, no matter what. It's very important. To lose 2 in a row, it's bad in the boxing game. That's when everybody starts saying it's time to retire or hang them up, or win's always important. Come out and take care of business and do what I do best, and I feel good. I feel sharp. I'm excited that we're getting back in the ring back to back. Quick turnaround.
And that's the plan, to do a quick turnaround, 3 or 4 months, and you're back in the action, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Stay in the action, and God willing, everything goes good this fight. Get right back in the ring.
Okay, so I have a question. In the Thurman fight, in like the 10th round or so, it seemed like you hurt him to the ribs or something. Is there any truth to that? Like, it just seemed like he was a little woozy.
Yeah, I think I was hurting him a lot. But he's a strong guy. He's always in great shape. He's very active. He stays on his game. He's always in the ring fighting. So, he was able to weather the storm and get off the hook. I think if I would have started probably about 3-4 rounds earlier, I probably would have stopped him. Towards the end of the fight, he was just hanging on for dear life.
No truth that he had like bruised ribs or anything, or broken ribs after the fight?
All I know is he went straight from the ring to the emergency room.
Oh, that's interesting. Aron Martinez likes to hang out on the ropes. He likes to walk back into the ropes and do that. That doesn't seem like a good plan against you.
Yeah, I mean, he'll put the pressure, you know, watching his fights, he'll put the pressure on you, and if he can, he'll stay on it. But I've noticed, you know, you hit him with some shots, then he kind of retreats and tries to, you know, kind of just coil up like a snake and just try to poke and land a big shot on you. So, you know, also too, you know, when he is on those ropes, he is dangerous with that head. You know, he drops that head in and tries to butt you up and stuff like that. So, you know, you just gotta be sharp on that and watch out for it.
Any takeaways from the Josecito Lopez fight? He kind of gave up in that fight, and I feel like it gets easier to quit every time you quit.
You know, it's kind of hard to go off a fight like that. It seems like every time somebody fights me, it's like their championship fight, so they come like 10% better than they are at their best shape, and they give it their all because it's their chance to do something in boxing. So that's why, you know, I never really look at a guy, you know, during that fight, how his mentality was, because you know, who knows, he could have had something going on in his life, and you know, you just never know what's going on with them, where they didn't work hard or what, or just took the fight on short notice. And you know, but I know he's had time to get ready for me, and you know, this is his shot to get back to, or to even get on top.
One thing we know about you, you can take a welterweight punch.
Yeah, Thurman found that out. You know, it's just a matter of being in great shape. Also, too, you know, rolling with shots and taking steam off and not getting them really direct, you know, contact. So, you know, just, I don't know, just been blessed with, I guess, a great chin.
Apparently.
But I don't. But my dad always tells me, don't test it.
Well, you have been in those you've pretty much been in those kinds of fights as a welterweight. It doesn't seem like that's going to change to me, is it?
You know, you know, since I've been at welterweight, you know, I haven't been really, you know, that active. You know, one fight a year, every 9 months maybe. So, you know, we're gonna see how everything is now. You know, change the training regimen with, you know, staying in the gym more, also, you know, fighting more. So,
any changes in your style, your technique? Is everything just the same, that you're refining it, or are you making some adjustments along the way as you grow older?
A little bit of both. You know, the older you get, you know, you got to make those adjustments. But also, you know, refining it. You hit it right on, refining it. You know, being out of the ring, you develop bad habits. You come back, you know, you got to shake off the ring rust. You got to get back into shape. You got to get back into fight mode, into sparring mode. It's just, there's so much involved that when you do schedule a fight, it's not enough time to be ready for a fight, and then you fight, and then you're off for another long period of time. So you develop those bad habits. Like, you know, my dad would get mad at me because I was developing that habit to just stand there and just trade.
Right.
Start coming in, and people are like, this guy's crazy or something. He comes from featherweight, and he's at welterweight banging away with guys where he was a slick, you know, smooth boxer who could box and stay on the inside, move, and out-slick guys, to just trying to mow welterweights down. So, you know, you develop habits and you know, just not being very active, you end up sitting on those habits, and it just keeps, you know, it's like a snowball effect. It just keeps getting worse and worse.
So you've learned not to engage unless it's the right time, I guess is the key.
Just getting back on my game, you know, boxing more, you know, on the inside, the exchanges, and not sticking around to take fire back. Just a lot of stuff we worked on. I mean, with the Thurman fight, you know, we worked on a lot of boxing. But just not being very active in the ring, you know, it's not the same. You can work on it, but, you know, when you got live fire in front of you, it changes everything. We go back to, you know, like baseball players. I mean, you can hit off the pitching machine all day, but as soon as you get somebody in there throwing curveballs and, you know, changing the speed and you know, hitting different spots and angles, you know, that's where, you know, guys start getting freezed up.
Love the baseball analogies. Yeah.
I saw a Ellie Sickback video. Broner and Calm were chirping, and then all of a sudden you came around and no one was talking. What gives?
Yeah, I seen them over there making a big old fuss, and it's funny because those guys talk a lot and they go back and forth talking, and then they talk about me, and I never say anything. So I go, you know what? I'm here. I'm just gonna jump in and see what happens. But I mean, I didn't jump in to try to be all, you know, and start chirping the way they were. They were actually crowing, so they weren't chirping. And you know, as soon as I got in there and said, "Get me in on this action," they both just go, "Shoot." But Broner's gonna be Broner. You know, he's gonna talk and, you know, say all this stuff. But you know, when it comes down to the real deal behind scenes and making fights, they never get made.
What do you think of that fight? Broner versus Porter. I mean, that's probably like one of the more competitive matchups in the division right now.
I think that's going to be a great fight. Porter comes, man. He comes, and he comes strong and fast. You know, see how Adrian's going to handle it, because the last guy that came at him like that was Maidana, who came at him throwing a lot of punches and just combinations and putting pressure. You know, gave him a lot of trouble. But you got Porter now, who's got speed behind that and footwork to get in there. It changes a lot. So I think it's going to be a big change from you know, fighting a you know, a guy like Molina who's not as quick on his feet, to a guy like Porter who could get in quick.
Speaking about Broner, I guess Eloy's on the radar again?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard he's back on the radar and getting back in shape. So they use him for sparring because he does got kind of a similar style as Martinez.
And Andre Ward, he's finally back in action. There's a lot of parallel here. He was off for a long time, you're off for a long time, and now you found new guys that are in your corner that have some juice.
Yep.
And I know the fight with Andre coming up is probably just a tune-up situation, but you know, you guys have this bond, and there's something to it.
Oh yeah, I seen Andre about a month ago at his gym. You know, he looks great all the time. Andre's always on it. He's always in great shape. Phenomenal fighter. It's just, you know, I'm just happy to see him back. I'm happy to see him back, and you know, I'm glad he got over all the legal issues and all the stuff. I mean, I know how it is, and I've been there and done it. So it's, you know, it's a tough situation, but you know what? I'm excited that he's back, and you know, it's great for him and his family, and you know, it's time for him to finish off his career in great fashion.
One of these days, both of you guys on the same card. You dreamt about that for like ever.
Oh yeah, I like we always talked about. Jerry was having a big card here in the Bay Area with Ward, myself, and Nonito Donaire. I mean, it would be incredible. You know, all of us grew up together in the amateur program and became the first world champions of the Bay Area. So I mean, it's couldn't be a better time for boxing here.
Well, the best time would be for that to actually come to pass, and it's not beyond the realm of possibility, or is it?
Oh no, I mean, anything's possible. You know, especially with Al Heyman. I mean, everything is possible. So, I mean, I just, it's unbelievable how he's taking boxing to new heights.
How can that happen when the guy doesn't even make appearances?
Well, things happen like that when you have a guy who doesn't thrive for the limelight and be a, you know, look at me or anything like that. You know, he stays behind scenes, does his job, and, you know, just worries about the fighter, because like he tells us all the time, it's not about me, it's about you guys. You guys are the ones in there fighting, and that's the one great thing about it is he's there for us fighters.
And to be on free TV for a consistent period of time now for the rest of the year, there's all these dates. Who's to say you won't get on CBS or NBC a couple more times this year, eh?
Oh, most definitely. It's great for the sport of boxing. It's great for my career. You know, since after the Thurman fight, I mean, it's just been incredible with the fans and you know, the support I got from everybody, not just here in California, but around the world. I mean, it's awesome, and you know, to be able to, you know, watch fights for free. I mean, you have people paying $100 for a mega fight, the fight of the century, and you got better fights on NBC.
Absolutely.
I mean, how great is that? So, yeah, it's great. It's great for boxing, and I know every fighter wants in on it.
So my grandpa asked me, like, have you heard of this Guerrero kid? Because he watched on NBC. He goes, that's a fighter. And I feel like you got more fans from the NBC than Thurman almost. Did NBC ask you to come back? Did they like pick you and said, that's the guy we want back on our airwaves?
Most definitely, as soon as I hit the locker room. As soon as I hit the locker room press conference after the fight, they were just, pretty much they said, you saved boxing on network TV. Mm-hmm. And to hear that, I mean, it's an honor to hear that. And it's funny how you say, you know, was it your grandfather asked you? I had a 90-some-year-old lady come up to me in the parking lot at a Safeway and tell me, hey, great job, kid. You remind me of the old days of boxing. I'm like, I was shocked. I thought she was going to come and tell me, like, hey, you shouldn't park there or this or that. But she came up to the window to tell me that, and I was just, like, stunned to, you know, see somebody, you know, that appreciates everything. And I mean, it's just great. It's great, and, you know, it's one of those things where you want to just go out there and just put on great fights.
Very last question. I have my spider sense, a guy fighting in your division, Earl Spence Jr. fights a couple of weeks from now. I feel like that name's going to be brought up with your name in the near future. What do you think of Earl Spence? Like, just what's your idea if people start echoing you two together?
You know what? I haven't even seen him at all, but, you know, there's always going to be good fighters out there, and they're going to come up. They're going to come up, and, you know, the names are going to get thrown around, and it's just, it's about making the fights. It's about making great fights for the fans and, you know, giving them what they want. And that's the type of guy I am. I'm going to give them what they want, and I'm going to put on the show, and I'm going to come and work hard and, you know, make it happen.